My name is Dre Taylor. I'm here with a friend and business partner, Miss Monique Waters. If you can introduce yourself, Miss Monique.
So I'm Monique Waters. I own Massage Amani and Spa in downtown Overland Park, and I'm also, once again, Dre's business partner and Plush Green, which we'll be talking to you about here in a second.
Yeah, so with the new law, Amendment 2, passing in Missouri, which was the passing of cannabis being for medical marijuana in Missouri, we seen an opportunity a little bit before that, and so we wanted to enter the race of hopefully obtaining some medical marijuana licenses. There was 4 licenses out: seed to sale license, there was cultivation, there was a dispensary and manufacturing, making edible products and oils and things of that matter. And so I've been on Monique for about 10 years plus, probably.
Yes.
10 years plus, and so we thought that we would try to enter as a partnership agreement to create Plush Green to actually receive some licenses for medical marijuana here in Missouri, being that only less than 5% of African Americans own licenses around the country, even though we represent over 70% of the prison populations for possession of marijuana, and now it's trying to do pardons and things of that nature. But I think Quinn Lucas just passed something where I'll be pardoned, I think, misdemeanor convictions or something like that, I believe, for marijuana possession, I believe. So this is something we seen an opportunity to be in this field, and we did a lot of traveling. We went a lot of places. Where did we go?
What, Hawaii, California, Oregon, Colorado, Kentucky, a little bit everywhere. We knew a lot of people in the industry. We wanted to make sure that we had a really strong team to basically get the business off the ground and do what we need to do, because you had to have background in these fields already on your team. You couldn't just be brand new walking into it, according to the state of Missouri.
Yeah, so some of the qualifications to get a license was the first fee of a non-refundable fee, $10,000 for cultivation, $6,000 for manufacturing, and $6,000 for dispensary. And so we applied for 5 licenses. I think it was a total of 34 grand or something, but it was even more money than that when you look at the travel expenses, paying a lawyer, marketing, advertising, website, architect.
Yeah.
It was all kind of these different things that you had to do before you can apply for the license that was asking you to have. You had to even have some land. So some people lease land for 6 months, prior to them, getting accepted or not getting accepted for the license. So it was a lot of groundwork that needed to be done to enter the race. I think it was over 2,100 applications for 360 licenses that was given out. So we had a 1 in I think 7 or 8 chance of actually receiving a license. We put a lot of work in. We created a great team. We thought we put in a good application. That's, I think everybody who wrote an application probably don't think that they put in a good application, but I think we had a fairly good team, solid team, that, I would go against anybody with the qualifications that we had on the application.
And I think a lot of people had phenomenal applications. I think the issue here is the way that they were graded. So if anyone has been reading articles or looking at the news lately, there's been a lot of people putting in appeals. And it was basically because if you had an application, especially multiple applications to compare to and look across, it doesn't look like it was graded fairly. I think for us specifically, I went through our applications, and that was when we initially noticed that there was an issue. So there was simple questions like, do you have insurance? Yes or no? We marked yes. We got a 0. Are you diverse? How are you going to handle diversity in this field and minorities? Well, we were black, white, Latina, man, woman, veterans, the whole 9, yet we somehow got a 0 on diversity. These were things that didn't add up. Questions such as, do you have pharmacology experience? We have a nuclear pharmacist and chemist, people who have owned pharmacies, who have been in pharmacology. You say yes, you got a 0. And then to compare those across other applications, you might get a 0 on one, you might get a 10 on the other, you might get a 7 on the other, but it was the same exact question. So it made you question what was the actual criteria. And I'm not sure, did anybody that was black, I do believe somebody got licenses, but it was very few.
Yeah, I'm not for sure who actually received a license, if there was any other black applicants who actually received licenses. I know of a couple other applicants who was black and was in Kansas City who did not receive them, that I know personally. And so I'm not for sure in Kansas City how many was black, but I also do know prior to going after the application process, I was approached maybe about 10 different companies, saying that, hey, we want you to be the token or the black face, to get this license. And so, even when I made the argument of some kind of affirmative action or something needs to be done for minorities, meaning that, we've been disenfranchised for the last 40 years, and sectioned out for use of drugs, even though it shows the same comparison rate as the use of whites to blacks. And so I even went down to Jeff City to allocate with, talk to the state reps and senators down there to try to advocate for us to have some kind of something in place. It was actually shot down by the Republican House in Jeff City, working with Senator Curls and Barbara Washington. And so we didn't get no legs because, like I said, it's a Republican House down in Jeff City, so they didn't have enough support. And when they wrote Amendment 2, they didn't put anything in there for minorities. So sometimes we have to understand the process that needs to take place when they make laws and amendments and things of that nature, to move something forward. We can't always come to the table after dinner's being served. Sometimes we got to sit at the table or be in the back of the kitchen, when they cooking up the recipe and then they put it out there, and we can't get mad and say, hey, I don't like this chicken because it's unseasoned. We need to be back there in the kitchen cooking up, or find our own kitchen and figure out how we can do what we need to do. And so when we did get the license, like she said, it was discrepancies in the scoring. There's a lot of hearsay where there's a lot of appeals being filed. There was an actual hearing last week in Jeff City that I listened to for about an hour, and one of the senators raised the question was, we have all these appeals, and the amount of licenses that was issued was the minimum amount. Why don't you just increase the amount of licenses? Because the amount of appeals and lawsuits is coming. Of the $18 million that the state of Missouri paid, or the state of Missouri collected from all these applicants, all these lawsuits will pretty much drain that $18 million due to the number of applicants who's going to be filing these lawsuits and appeals. So he said his main thing was, why don't you just grant more licenses? And so Missouri did a study on how many licenses they should have in the state of Missouri. And that's the number they came up with, and that's the reason behind it. But due to all the hearsay of the way they graded the applications, where one question we might have said yes on insurance, another question we said yes, but we got 0 on one and 10 on another.
The other.
Even though it was the same question, same answer, 2 different applications, they graded it differently. And so with those discrepancies, you can't have a fair judgment. We're not, we wasn't crying over spoiled milk, even though we put a lot into it. Yeah. But you can't say that we got a 0 here and a 10 there, and then it makes you look at the other applicants who received multiple licenses. How did you receive those multiple licenses if the grading was so inconsistent throughout? Exactly. And so there was a lot of people who was raising these questions, and a lot of lawyers getting involved. And we had to hire a lawyer. We're going through the appeal process, and so a lot of people were supporting us. A lot of people wanted to see us win. We were trying to do this for the community, where we had people who look like us, who's going to be in the community, helping out with medical marijuana and educating people on this whole process and what needs to be done. And so I don't think you're going to see a lot of representation around the city with people who look like them, but that just, something we was fighting for in the whole application process. And so we're going to continue to fight and see what comes of it, and I'll keep going how getting into the hemp. What are some questions that you've been asked about this whole situation?
Just really, I feel like how the community can rally behind us and support us. And I feel like you have to be honest about it. You have to speak up about this stuff. Like he said, a lot of things start on the floor with politics. Like you can't come up behind and after the fact and say, let's amend some rules, let's do that. No, we should have been at the table in the very beginning. We should have made sure we had some level of representation. So even things like pushing it to be federally legal or making recreational legal, there's some lobbyists that are pushing for that right now. And they want it to go through this year so that this entire process doesn't even matter. We can all come back, and we can basically just, go forth with our business plan, and it'll just be competition like any other business. What do you think? Who should they talk to in order to kind of rally behind us?
I mean, policymakers who can make change within an amendment. I seen something in Chicago where they're trying to set a peddler's license in the inner city for people that be able to sell at like a vendor. To be able to sell marijuana legally. And so there's things that can be done within the rules, but we just have to know those rules, understand those rules, and approach those people like the mayor, your state rep, whoever that is. A lot of people don't even know who their state rep is and what area it is. Their senator, who is a senator in the area, who is their representation. And so it's a lot of things that we just don't engage in, we should, when local politics is more important than, the federal politics, even on the state level and the local level with the city council. And so we have to be involved and engaged, with the process and, apply the pressure. These are people who are supposed to represent us. And so, this is why, sometimes I go down to Jeff City to advocate for people who might not have the knowledge or understanding of what's going on. Just because if I don't go, we ain't gonna know. You know what I mean? The circle of people I'm around isn't gonna know the things that's coming forth. And so it's one of those things that we just have to play a part in. And everything we do is political, whether we believe it or not. Right. Where you put your trash out outside, who's picking up the trash outside, the crime that happens, everything that happens is political. You always all you have to do is follow the dollar and see who's allocating those funds wherever they need to be funded to. And so there's a lot of things we just don't understand when it comes to, the politics and how things are played out and how it would affect our everyday lives.
And this process I'll definitely say this process taught us that on a large level. Just looking at a lot of the other things that are in play and issues that are going on, they're looking into the people who were even grading the applications according to other articles that have been put out on other media sources, because they said the first time they put a call out for someone to grade, they didn't get anyone to return the call. So they did it again, and I don't know if they put these people through some sort of test or something, but the people that they hired actually scored pretty low, but it was all they had, so they went with them anyway. So that alone told you possibly picked someone who wasn't competent for the job to begin with. But you took people's thousands of dollars, I mean 50, 100,000. There's people that put $300,000 into this and lost everything. And I don't know, like I said, this is definitely a learning experience on when this much money is involved, how nasty and how ugly it can actually get. And people in power can take over and take control. So we need you to back us and back other people who look like us, because right now we're appealing and they're probably hoping we just run out of money and can't keep fighting. That's not what we're going to do. Me and Dre plan on going until we can eventually get into this business.
Yeah, so that's where basically where we're at. We're going through the whole legal process, doing his due diligence, keep on fighting, not giving up, and just trying to figure out ways to put, people in the community, providing jobs, education around, cannabis, education around CBD, all these different things that's around something that's going to be beneficial. Me personally, I lost 2 grandparents to cancer, and I believe I
lost my father
to cancer. So these are some things that, we go through and we don't understand the education around or the benefits that come, with these type of things of medical marijuana and hemp, things of that nature. So, we appreciate, you guys, listening to, our story, because we really haven't been that much out in the public about what happened, what took place.
Right.
It's a lot of articles getting out, but people don't understand, what we had to go through to get what we had to get.
We did a whole lot of work.
A lot of work.
Me and Dre were ripping and running from here to, whatever state we could get to, and networking with whoever we can. So definitely, contact us. Not even just for the marijuana. Like I said, we do hemp too. And we're taking investments for that. So if you guys want to get into the hemp business, or if you want to propel us on that, you can help as well. So you can reach me at massageamani@yahoo.com. That's massage, AMANI @yahoo.com. I'm on Facebook, social media. My business name is Massage Amani and Spa. So anything you need, just hit me up. And then Dre, what's your contact info?
Dre Taylor on Facebook. You can find me on there. I'm pretty active. Pretty much just hit me up. I'm always responsive to, messages and what I do. I have a mentor program, Males to Men. Got a fruit orchard in Swope Park, Kansas City Urban Fruit Farm Co-op, and then now Valley Aquaponics on 29th and Wild Bash. And so email Males to Men, MALESTOMEN. So males to men at gmail.com that you can reach me at. And then your email is.
Oh, I just said it. Massage Amani, MASSAGEAMANI @yahoo.com.
Thank you for tuning in, and hopefully we'll be in touch.
All right, thank you.